brains full of voltage like a warning before the storm. You think this chaos random? It's engineered collapse. They sell you fear in high definition, then monetize the gaps. Global architects drafting blueprints in the dark, smiling for the cameras while they carving up the heart. They call it policy reform, I call it tightening chains. A velvet glove prison built from psychological brains. Listen, this ain't about left or right theatrics. It's about power centralized in bureaucratic addicts. Unelected hands in committees you never voted for, deciding what is truth and what you're allowed to explore. They mock you as crazy when you question the throne, label you unstable when you stand on your own. But history's a graveyard of theorists burn, who later got statues when the documents turn. Follow the signals, digital cages arise, algorithms shaping what you think you decide. Your outrage curated, your timeline controlled, dopamine drip fed like programmable gold. They don't need tanks when they got your feet, don't need boots when they can edit belief. Rewrite definitions while the cameras roll, shift the Overton window and swallow the soul. I'm roaring because silence is complicity's twin, because censorship always starts dressed as a friend. Safety and standards and community care, until dissent becomes contraband air. You feel it, the tightening grid of compliance, corporate state marriage and ritual alliance, where banks and agencies toasting champagne light, while small voices get buried in the dead of the night.
They game the markets, game the fear, game the crisis year by year. Problem reaction, prepackaged cure, manufactured emergencies, profit secure. You think pandemics, conflicts, shortages bloom, or incentives align and accelerate doom. When chaos erupts, who expands their reach? Who writes the grants? Who funds the speech? I'm not saying demons crawl out of the clay, I'm saying human hunger don't fade away. And when power concentrates without constraint, it don't need horns, just a compliant saint. They build narratives like cathedrals of glass, fragile but massive, too big to surpass. And if you throw facts like stones at the frame, they call you extremes, deranged, insane. But look at the mergers, the ownership trees, 6 hands gripping most what you see. Media conglomerates harmonized tight, debating each other but reading one script at night. They say it's coincidence, I say incentive. They say it's organic, I say preventive. Preventing awakening, preventing dissent, preventing the public from seeing where power is spent. Why does every scandal fade in a week? Why does every leak lose its mystique? Because attention's a weapon, they learn to command. Rotate the outrage, reset the demand. They'll give you spectacle, circus and flame, celebrity trials, distraction and shame, while regulatory ink redraws the game, and lobbyists whisper in halls without name. I'm loud because history punishes the meek, because tyrannies rise when the watchdogs sleep, because comfort is currency traded for chains, and convenience can anesthetize brains. They want a world streamlined, optimized, neat, where dissent is flagged and deleted discreet, where speech is filtered through AI decree, and sovereignty fades into technocracy. You call that progress, I call it a test. How much control can they mask is best? How much autonomy can quietly die while citizens scroll and don't ask why? This is a megaphone sermon in rhythm and rage, ink on the margins of a digital cage. I'm not your prophet, I'm pressure applied, a friction reminder that truth can't be tied. They'll fact check fury, but never the throne. They'll scrutinize rebels, but not the unknown. They'll audit the whistle, but not the vault, and blame the collapse on the public's fault. I'm saying question with discipline, fire, interrogate power, demand something higher. Transparency ain't treason, scrutiny ain't sin. Freedom decays when fear settles in. You don't need paranoia, you need awareness. You don't need hatred, you need preparedness, because centralized force with unchecked sway don't wake up kinder the following day. This is thunder and syllables, seismic breath, warning of livid as bureaucratic death. Not with explosions, but paperwork slow. Not with invasion, but gradual flow. So stand up sharp, not rabid, not blind, but fiercely protective, a sovereign mind. Question the narrative, follow the thread. Ask who benefits when liberty's shred. They can mock the volume, they can sneer at the tone, but revolutions of thought begin alone. In every empire that overreached met citizens who finally preached not violence, vigilance, not chaos, clarity, not hatred, relentless parity. This is the roar they tried to mute the inconvenient, unpolished truth, echoing raw through the modern dome. Power unchecked will build its own throne.